to say hi to you. And hey, Jennifer, how are you? And hi, Derek. So I'm going to let you guys take over in just a second, but don't forget, everybody, write your comments and your questions as we go in the comment section so that we can answer your questions afterwards. And we're going to also have a really, really cool giveaway for you. Yes, TV coming up. So you definitely want to see right here after their presentation. So you guys take it right away. See you guys.
Hello, everyone out there. My name is Jennifer Rogers. I am the CRA officer for the state of Ohio for Third Federal Savings. And we also have Derek Crudy, our community lending officer, here with us as well. So we're going to be talking to you today about building credit for future success. We're going to talk about credit, and we're going to talk about the TF Home Ready community lending product. Establishing and maintaining credit, two very important components of getting yourself ready for homeownership, and the TF Home Ready loan. There are 10 top money management pitfalls that we all fall into from time to time. And I want to ask the audience out there, what do you think those top 10 money management pitfalls are? No spending plan. We just get our paychecks and we just go to the ATM. We go to the mall. We go grocery shopping. We get our gas. And we really don't plan to spend. Very important. No cash reserves. We don't have any extra cash to fall back on so that in the event of an emergency, we don't have to tap into our funds for our day-to-day living expenses. Too much use of credit. Wow. We are so excited. We've graduated from college, or we've got our first career job and our professional job, and we have credit cards coming to us in the mail, and we say yes to every one of them. And what do we do if we don't have a good plan in place? We use those credit cards and we max them out. We really don't know that in the beginning, but when you're in this stage of life, when you're looking to buy a home or buy a car or any major purchase, then you realize you have maxed out your credit. So too much use of credit. Non-constructive use of windfalls. What does that mean? That means when you have a birthday, you hit the lottery, you get money for Christmas gifts or any type of unexpected cash that you receive, what do you do with it? Do you spend it or do you save it? No provision for large expenses. Wow, large expenses. New tires, car purchase, your children in school have expenses, picture day, things that come up that you don't normally plan for. So you have no provision for large expenses. Underestimating the cost of home ownership. Think about this. Right now, the majority of you, I'm assuming you either rent or live at home with your parents. If you're renting, what do you do when you have an issue? You call your landlord. If you're living at home and there's an issue, you tell mom or dad. But if you're the homeowner, who do you call? Exactly. You have to rely on yourself, and sometimes there's a cost associated with those expenses. So you want to be prepared for that. Spending leaks. This is the best one. What do you think a spending leak is? A spending leak is money that you have no idea where it's going. ATM fees, NSF fees in your checking account, fees associated with either transferring money or things that you do on a regular basis. Cappuccino every day, coffee every day, going to fast food every day, just spending little bits of money, but on a consistent basis. Those are identified as spending leaks. If you think about where that money goes, or we teach you how to track your spending, you'll realize how much you're truly spending every week out of your paycheck. Careless shopping habits. For me, I never pay full price for anything, and my entire family knows that. Never pay full price for anything. So careless shopping habits, if it's not on sale, you don't buy it. Not saving small amounts. Who picks up pennies off the street? Who saves that coin when you break a dollar? You must start creating habits that help you get to saving funds and having money ready for your home. So save your coins. And what is the last one? That can't wait attitude. We are a society of I want it quick, I want it fast, and I want it now. And if you do too much too soon, that can negatively impact your plan. So those are your your 10 money management pitfalls. Stay away from those. There are two components of personal money management, and they're very simple. Plan to spend and a plan to save. The elements of a spending plan is you need a checking account. Some of you may or may not be able to be on a checking account because you're on check systems, or you had a time in your life where it was very difficult and challenging and you weren't able to have a checking account or maintain it in a positive way. Now is the time to start getting your checking account in order. If you owe something on check systems, it's time to find out how much you owe and try to make restitution on that. Paying attention to your spending, your habits, and your behaviors. Spending, not unplanned spending, it's just a bad habit. And we can change that. We can correct that, because habits are formed, they say, in 21 days. It may take a little bit more than that. But if you're truly serious and ready for home ownership, you have to change your thinking and you have to change your habits. Planning for large expenses. If you know something is coming up, start to plan for it. Don't wait until the month before the event or the month before the expense is due and say, hey, how am I going to pay for this? You start planning in advance. You break the cost down in manageable amounts, and you just put a little bit aside every month. So you have to plan for large expenses. Cash reserves for surprise or unexpected expenses. Again, having a little bit set aside every pay or every time you get some funds, or we talked about the windfall a few slides back. Take those funds from your birthday or your lottery winnings and just set it aside for your surprise and unexpected expenses. Now, why do we want credit? We want credit to make large purchases. Do we want to pay cash for a car? We all would love to be able to do that. But do we want to pay cash for a car? Do we want to pay cash for a house? Doesn't make really good sense. So you want to have credit so that you can make these large purchases. And then also establishing credit gives you that history that the lender wants to see. So the lender wants to know, will you pay me back? Have you been a good steward of your money and of your credit in the past, so that the lender feels comfortable lending you $100,000, $200,000? So you want to make sure that you're prepared. And it's convenient. We don't always want to liquidate our cash that we have. So if we can get a loan of some sort, then that would allow you to pay over time and not have to liquidate all of your cash. Now, we all know charge cards. Charge cards, charge accounts, they're good, but they also can be bad. And we want you to know what they look like. So they are revolving credit. That bank or that financial institution gives you a line of credit, if you will, on a charge card or a credit card. You could call it Macy's, you can call it Dillard's, you can call it PayPal, you can call it Menards, Home Depot. Wherever you have a credit card, that's a charge card. So it's revolving credit. You have to agree to a credit agreement, and that credit agreement has a lot of fine print in it, and it tells you all the details about that account, how you pay, what your rate's going to be, how it's going to be calculated. If you decide to take a cash advance, which we highly recommend you do not take a cash advances have a totally different calculation than an actual purchase. And then you have to pay on time. There are due dates that don't change. So if you're budgeting and planning correctly, you can meet these dates on time. And there's a minimum payment. Well, if you pay the minimum payment, then you're probably going to end up paying more than what the item was that you purchased. So you want to be mindful, and you want to properly manage your charge and credit card accounts. And then there's late charges. Late charges is if you don't pay on time, we're going to charge you a fee. So if you couldn't pay the $25 or $30 monthly payment, now your payment is $50 or sometimes even $60 more than what it was originally. So pay very close attention to your due dates, your minimum payments, and your late charges. And then you have a credit limit. You have a maximum amount that you're allowed to use. But we don't recommend that you use every penny of that. I know we get super excited, and I have a charge card or a credit card, and they gave me a $500 limit. And then I go out and I charge clothes and shoes and gas and food. But then when that bill comes due, now you owe almost that $500. And now the bank looks at that as excessive use of credit. And that negatively impacts your credit. So you never want to use 100% of your credit available. The amount to be is anywhere from 30 or less. So 30% of the credit you have available or less. That's the target. Then if you lose your credit card or someone steals your credit card from you and they use it without your permission or without your authorization, then that can negatively impact you as well. So you want to be very mindful and very cautious of your credit cards. Installment loans. Installment loan is a fixed payment like a car payment or a secured loan to a consolidation loan. Those are examples of a fixed payment. The payment is the same every month. The term is a specified amount of time, usually 5 years is about the max for a smaller loan term. Repayment agreement, you have to sign, you're obligated to pay back as agreed. The interest, it tells you how much your interest is going to be every month. And it's usually, I said, as a fixed rate, and that payment stays the same. And again, you have due dates that you have to be mindful of. And you want to make sure that those, that those due dates fit into your spending plan and as you get paid every month. And if you don't pay on time, what happens? You have late charges. Now, on an installment loan, you do have a grace period, whereas on a charge card or credit card, you do not have a grace period. So be mindful of the dates and when your payments are due. Now, the credit bureau, and this is the most important place. There are 3 reporting, credit reporting agencies: Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. Now, all 3 of these are very competitive. They compete against one another, and they're regional. Some areas of the country use Equifax and Experian. some use TransUnion, and some use all three, or some just use one. It just depends. It's up to that creditor or that lender to determine which bureau they're going to use. They may have different information on each for that reason. So if you pull your credit report, and we'll show you how to do that on the next couple of slides, you want to be mindful what's on one credit report may not necessarily be on another credit report. But one thing I want you to remember is that you need to monitor all three and make sure that all three are accurate with correct information. They all don't need the same information. They just need to have correct information. www.annualcreditreport.com. That is the #1 website that we recommend as lenders for you to use to pull your credit report. So each person can pull their credit report one time per year for free. Yes, for free, from all three bureaus. There is a website out there that says that is www.freeannualcreditreport.com. There is a fee associated with that. So the one that is truly free is the one listed on your screen, www.annualcreditreport.com. You can also go to www.creditkarma.com or www.myfico.com. Now, some of the credit agencies, there's a Credit Karma app, and there's an Experian app that you can use. And those are good tools to use so that you know what's going on in your personal credit file. But I just want you to note that just because you may see a 700 or a 750 credit score on your Credit Karma or your Experian app, when you get to the bank, it may not be that particular score. A note for you to have or to write down: all lenders have a different algorithm or matrix that they use to come up with a score. So the score that you see on Credit Karma or Experian may be different than the score that you see at a lending institution when you apply for a loan. Now, the credit reports, the credit agencies, they have all of the information reported by your creditor. They update them sometimes monthly, and they're usually 1 month behind. So if you use your charge card today, and then you pull your credit card in the next couple of weeks, it may not necessarily show. That charge or that balance won't show until the following month or even the month after that. It also keeps record of the timeliness of your payment. So if you miss a payment, that will show as a delinquent or a negative mark, and it will reduce your credit score. So if you are behind on any credit card payment, any car loan, any student loan, we highly recommend that you contact those creditors and start working on getting those credit accounts up to date and reconciled. It also tells the credit limit. So if you have a $500 credit limit, it's $499 of that $500 credit limit. That is all reported to the credit reporting agencies. And then also the balance owing. It also records your name, your address, your previous address, your employer, your previous employer, and any other inquiries that a creditor may make to find out if they should lend to you. Your address, your name is very, very important. We recommend that if you ever apply for credit, you always apply the same way. So if you have a middle initial, you always use your middle initial. If you don't have a middle initial, but you could be a junior or a senior, we recommend that you always apply for credit in your junior or senior name. Sometimes the credit agencies will merge if you merge names and accounts, and then some of your parents' information could incorrectly, however it is, but it could merge with your credit report. So you want to make sure that you monitor and that you always sign your name and apply for credit in the same way. Any public records. Public records are bankruptcies, foreclosures, if you've had a accident, a car accident of some sort, and you were found to be at fault and the other person sued you to get their medical bills paid or their car repaired, that information follows and flows through to your credit report. So you want to be mindful of that as well. And any collections from cell phone companies, collections from credit card companies, collections from any utilities, anything that you were obligated to pay, but for whatever reason you chose not to pay it, and you refuse to pay it or to make restitution, that becomes a collection on your credit report, and you at some point will have to resolve it. So I always say, pay me now or pay me later. There's no such thing as not having to pay an obligation that you committed to. And again, all of this information gives the lender information about your payment habits. So now I'm going to turn it over to Derek Crudy, our community lender, and he's going to talk to you about the TF Home Ready community lending product. Derek?
Appreciate that, Jennifer, and everything here. So we just wanted to go over a couple of different products that we have that could potentially help you guys here at Third Federal. The first one being our Home Ready product. With our Home Ready product, it does allow for as little as 3% down. Of that 3% down, it doesn't necessarily have to come specifically from your own funds. It can come from gifts, grants, down payment assistance, any sorts of different items can go through that. So just for example, just to give you some easy, quick math, if you're trying to buy a house for $100,000, 3% of that would be $3,000 that you need for the down payment. And then also remember that there's going to be potentially closing costs and everything associated with those. So you want to have at least still some money set aside in the bank and everything. So it doesn't necessarily mean that, because you can do whatever with the 3% when it comes to down payment and all those sorts of things. You do still need to have some money set aside and everything just in case. This program and this product does come in a 15 and 30-year fixed term. With that being said, we don't charge any points or anything with this. Yesterday morning, our 30-year product was actually at a 2.99 interest rate. So it's a very competitive rate. It does allow for you to have a little bit more flexibility there. The maximum purchase price for this particular program is $250,000. The maximum loan amount that we allow is up to $200,000. Now, one thing that is a little bit unique at Third Federal is we will actually go down to a $10,000 loan amount. Yes, I said that right. We will actually go down to a $10,000 loan amount. So for those of you that have tried to go to a different lender before and they've told you their minimum is $50,000, that's not the case here at Third Federal. Now, one of the unique things with this particular program is there may be an income and or geographic restriction to this. In Cuyahoga County, that income restriction is $58,960 that a borrower can make and still make less than and still qualify for this program. Now, if where you are buying is deemed to be in a low to moderate income area, you could actually make LeBron James type of money and still qualify for this particular program. Like I said, we do offer a little bit lower of an interest rate with this particular program as well. And all of our pre-approvals are free. The other unique thing about Third Federal is with our pre-approvals, they are all underwritten up front. So we do ask for, your pay history and your pay stubs. We do ask for your asset statements, so your bank statements, your checking, savings, those sorts of things, because it's actually going to go to a live underwriter who is going to then decision that pre-approval. If you get pre-approved and everything through us, you've already done pretty much, I'd say 50% of the loan process up front. So it makes it a lot easier for you on the back end to actually just kind of make sure that the loan goes through the way that it needs to and get ready for closing. Now, with this particular program, there is an educational component to it. You either have to take the frameworks course, which we'll show you on the next couple slides here, the information for that. It's an online course that you can take, or we actually have our TF Home Today series that we are doing as well. You can take those courses and also get that educational requirement. Now, just one thing to note too with our Home Ready program, you do not have to be a first-time home buyer in order to take advantage of that program. So it is for those that have had homes in the past and everything as well. Another program that we wanted to go over with you guys just real briefly too is our Home at Last program. So this is a down payment assistance program that we actually are giving you here at Third Federal. It's $3,000. It comes to you essentially as a grant, so there's no implication on your taxes or anything along those lines. The same income or geographic restriction still applies to this as did the Home Ready loan. So you in Cuyahoga County either need to make $58,960 or less, or be buying in a low to moderate income area. And again, those educational requirements would be for this exact same thing too. So you'd either need to take our Home Today classes, which you can see on there for the registration, or you can take that frameworks course and everything online and still get the $3,000 and everything as well. Outside of that, if there are any questions or anything, my contact information is there, along with my counterpoint at Third Federal, Vianney Demore. We'd be more than happy to help you guys out and make sure that we can get you potentially into the house of your dreams.
Thank you, Derek.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you all so much. Thank you. Hey, Jennifer and Derek. Thank you so much for all that great information. And now I want to do a little backtrack because you guys couldn't hear me, allegedly. You couldn't hear me, okay? So I just want to let everybody know, and I'm sure you guys gave a bit of your info, but Derek Crudy, he is the Community Development Officer, and Miss Jennifer Rogers, she is the Community Reinvestment Act Officer for Ohio, all right? Thank you so much once again. And now, to the good stuff. We got a giveaway, everybody. All right, so I've got a shout out. Drum roll. The winner of our flat screen TV is going to J.D. Smith. Woo, JD. You have got a television. I feel like I'm on The Price is Right. But anyway, yes. So a big shout out to the Cleveland Realtist Association. They're going to be in contact with you so that you can get your TV. Okay. So you are the winner. Congrats once again. Now, thank you to everybody who tuned in and gave us questions. We've got a lot of great questions. And I want to get into some of these questions. Big shout out to everybody in our comments. I'm looking at them. You guys got some good information yourselves. All right. So first question. Let's go to Shannon. Shannon, okay, on Facebook wants to know how important is your FICO score when purchasing a home?
I'm going to refer to Derek. You can answer that question.
Sure. I mean, it's incredibly important. One of the big factors that a lender is always going to be looking at is going to be looking at your credit score and furthermore your payment history. They want to make sure, in banking terms, that you're essentially a good risk to the bank and everything, and that you're going to pay your loan and everything on time, and you're going to pay it off, throughout the duration of that. So it's very, very important.
All right, good. All right, thanks for that information. And also, many people on Facebook are also asking, what is the quickest way to boost your credit score?
I would say the quickest way to boost your credit score first is to find out what it is. and to start to pay off anything that is negative and resolve anything that is negative. There are companies, I will say this, there are companies out there that you will pay a fee for that will scrub your credit report and give you a temporary false increase in your credit score. We do not recommend that, because the banks, when they pull your credit, they're going to pull it in a totally different way, and that information will reappear. And so you think you're working up that hill to improve your credit, where actually you just shot yourself in the foot. So anything that's out there, pay it, resolve it, so that you can begin to heal your credit report. Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so Sandy wants to know, is it better to keep accounts with a zero balance open, or should you close them?
Never close it.
Right.
Never close any credit cards unless if they are maxed out. You don't want to close them. You want to pay them down, because your credit score is based on your credit limit to your usage. So if you close everything, you have no credit available. That's a totally negative and detriment to your score. So if you, whatever you owe, you want to pay it down, keep the payments on time, keep the payments positive, but never close any credit cards if you can avoid it.
Gotcha.
The other thing too, with that, so if it does have a zero balance, and say it's one of the cards that you first got, another thing that goes into your credit score is your credit history, how long you've had credit.
Yes.
So if you close that account out and it's one of your oldest accounts, you're actually going to be affecting your credit in a negative way. So you want to make sure that you leave those open.
Great. All right. So let's see. Kim on Facebook wants to know, how does paying off all your debt with the COVID-19 stimulus check affect your score?
Well, I would have to say, unfortunate during this time that COVID-19 stimulus check, if you saw my presentation, that is a windfall, depends on how you use it. And if you want to use it constructively, absolutely paying down or paying off any credit that you have, or getting caught up on any bills that are delinquent, that is a very positive and constructive use of the stimulus money. Absolutely, yes.
Okay, great. Ms. McLean wants to know, do you have to live in Cuyahoga County to qualify for the programs?
No, you do not. And I can leave, Derek, if you want to, you can reply to that question.
Yeah, I mean, so it's available in most of the surrounding counties here in and then around Cuyahoga. I know for sure Lorain, Summit, and everything. So yeah, you don't have to necessarily live in Cuyahoga County and everything, depending on which county you live in, though, because it's not available in all counties in Ohio. But that's something that, you know, depending on, we can talk about over the phone or whatever too. So.
All right, cool. So Will on Facebook wants to know if the program can be used on multifamily properties.
Derek, I'll leave that one to you too.
Yeah, absolutely, it can. So we will go up to a 2-unit property. Now the down payment restrictions and everything change a little bit on a 2-unit property. With a 2-unit property, you do have to have at least 3% of your own funds in the mix, and you do have to put 15% down in order to qualify for that program. So it is a little bit different, but I figured that would come up and everything, because it's definitely advantageous for that too.
Awesome. All right. So those are our questions that we have. One more. A few people on Facebook would like to know, what is the range of a good credit score?
Well, the range of a good credit score, I would have to say the highest, the better. I would say that. And not putting myself in a box or any written in stone, but anything, I want to have to say 680, Derek, and you can kind of chime in, 680 and above. I think you're on your way to successful home ownership. If you're below that range, you probably have some work to do. But I will say time is on your side. Rates are low. There's tons of programs that are out there to help you work toward that plan, whatever that plan is. And again, Third Federal has a home ownership education program that runs every month. It's free. It's offered through the Zoom platform. So you can go to www.thirdfederal.com and register. And all of those tools are there to help you boost your credit score.
Awesome. Anything else you want to add?
No, I think that's it. Derek, would you like to say anything?
I was just going to say too, so with our home to date classes, the really, really cool part about those too is that we link you up with credit counselors in the area. And so if you are having some issues with your credit, those are the people that can help you out and make sure that they get you on that right track to be a successful homeowner and everything as well. But outside of that, I really appreciate you guys having us on and everything today.
Absolutely.
This has been pretty cool.
Yeah, great time. Thank you, everybody.
So much. Thank you guys for your information and everything that you all offered today. We're getting a lot of great comments. People are tuned in and getting information. And quarantine life isn't so bad. What else can you do? DJs, come on.
Right. Yes, absolutely.
Right.
All right. Thank you, everybody who was tuned in. Of course, we have another session coming up, our third session. Once again, shout out to our Third Federal Savings and Loan folks over there. Now, we're going to want you to stay here. If you're on Facebook, hold tight, because the next session, our third session, is going to be coming up. All right. So if you're online, just scroll on down to the next session. All right. But like I said, thank you guys so much. We'll be right back. My girl Ro is going to come, and we have some super giveaways after the third session, y'all. I'm talking about a sectional, washer dryer. And don't forget, you have to make sure you're on our websites, wzakcleveland.com and zhiphopcleveland.com, to enroll to win. You have to do it right there on the websites. And you have to be present during our session. So make sure, if you want to win those gifts and prizes, that you are live with us. You have to be live for that. And I also wanted to say, don't stress if you're missing some of the information, if it's going fast, because you'll be able to check back and watch these over if you just want to go over it and get your details once again. All right. So coming up, session 3, the role of your agent, CRA and NID. All right. That's coming up in just a few. So you guys stay right here. Thanks. See ya.